In today's lecture, we will study the case structures. Okay, the case structure is something which is similar to the if then else statement which we generally use in the conventional programming. So we will start the topic. So these are the contents which we have to cover in today's lecture. So we will start with introduction of the case structures. Then we will discuss the different type of case structures which we can use in LabVIEW. So these types are basically also the data types which we can use in LabVIEW. Okay, so in case structures, you can have two or more subdiagrams, or you can have two or more cases. For example, if we talk about the Boolean case structure, so what will be the two cases? It's either true or false. It means you have a set of code which will be executed when the case or when the condition is true, and there will be a set of code which will be executed when the condition is false. So whenever you will look at the block diagram, ये case structure जो है, this will appear on the block diagram, number one, and you can see only one case at a time. For example, you establish a Boolean case structure, so you will have two windows, one for the or two cases or two subdiagrams, one for the true case and the other for the false case. But you can only view one case or one subdiagram at a time. Okay, so when we will move to the live view, you will see what I'm talking about. I talked about the condition. So basically, there's a condition on the basis of which the live view or the case structure decides which part of the code should be executed. So that is basically the selector of the case, so which is dependent on the user input. So user inputs the condition. For example, we want to add numbers or subtract numbers. So whether the two numbers will be added or subtracted, that will be depend on the user's input. So that input can be either an alphabet, either a string, or either a button, or either basically drop down menu from which the user can select what operation or what function he wants to execute. So like I said earlier, this conventional case structure is more or less similar to the if then else statement which we used in the conventional programming languages like C++, Java, and other languages. So now we will move to the next slide. So this is how a case structure looks like. So what we have three elements of case structure. Number one is the case structure border. This is the same as the loop border. Okay, so basically this is the area, this loop border. So this loop border basically defines the area in which you have to write a code which needs to be executed. Okay, so this is the whole area which you are provided with in order to write your code. The second element is the case selector. Case selector is basically, this is a case selector for true case. So if the user entered a value which is corresponding to a true value, then this code will be executed. Although it's empty, but we will see what we can put inside this window. Or this is a true case, so there should be a false case as well, and there should be a code in the false case as well, which will execute it when the user selected the false option. So this is the case selector, and what we have in this case selector, we have two arrows using which we can move from one case to another. For example, if we press this one, what will happen? We will move to the false case. If we have like more than two, then we will keep on pressing these arrows and we will see the other cases of the case structure. And then there is a drop down menu. So there is an arrow which actually opens the drop down menu, and you can select a particular case from that menu as well. And then we have a selector terminal. This is a selector terminal, or this is a condition on the basis of which it will be decided which case or which subdiagram will be executed. So we can attach different type of controls with that selector terminal. We can attach an integer, We can attach a boolean, we can attach a string, we can attach enum. Enum हम अभी डिटेल में देखेंगे what's enum. So we can attach enum, we can attach a floating number as well, a real number. So we can attach any type of data, any data type with that selector terminal. Okay ji. So now this is a shortcut menu in which we have a lot of options available, but right at this point of time we are focusing on this area. Okay, so these are very much self-explanatory options. For example, add case after. So if we select this one, what will happen? A case will be added after that true case. So if we select this option, a case will be added before this case. Duplicate case, if we have two cases which are more or less similar, and which have very little modification, then it's better to duplicate the case and then do the changes. You can also delete the case, for example this current case if you want to delete, and you can also use the option which is remove empty case. For example, if you have any case in which you didn't put any data, any icon, any control, any indicator, any function, then it's better to remove. So you can use this one to remove any empty cases. Okay, so now we are talking about the string case structure. String case structure. So the string case structure is the one in which the selector terminal is getting the value or the input from a string control. For example, user can type what he wants to do. If you are controlling the case with the help of the string control, then the input is case sensitive. You can make it in case insensitive by using this option. You just have to right click on the case structure border and then select case insensitive match. So we will see this part in detail when we talk about the string case structure. So we will look at this aspect of the case structure in detail. So this option will only be available if you attach a string control with the case selector. Okay, so now we will talk about the default case. So what is a default case? For example, we are asking from the user to add four numbers, one of the four numbers, 1, 2, 3 or 4. If the user enter 1, then the two numbers will be added. If the user enter 2, then the two numbers will be subtracted, and so on. But instead of these four numbers, user entered, let's say, 19. So what will happen? There is no case for 19. So out of the all the available cases which we have in the case structure, we have to select a case which is a default case. For example, if the user input does not match with any of the cases, then there should be a default case which should execute in that case.